Hi, this is Sherita, and my podcast is, of course, Beverly Hills to Barnyard. Most of you are aware of that. Today, I have a very, very special guest coming to you all the way from France. And he and I were just speaking. We haven't actually seen each other in 18 years. This special guest of mine, who is also a friend and colleague, is Thierry Sanchez. But before I bring him on, I want to thank many of you. You've been sending me questions. I have various individuals that have sent me guest requests. And I just want you to know that in addition to highlighting my very special guests like today and my celebrity friends, I'm looking for individuals like yourself that are just looking to pivot in life. Maybe you don't already have a book out, but you're thinking of writing a book and you just have an idea and you're just wanting to kind of air that out in the public. Because what this show is about is to help people pivot, to help people make courageous choices in life that so often we will sit on. You have something in you that's waiting to be birthed. And we are here with Beverly Hills to Barnyard to help you do just that. The same way that I lived in Los Angeles for more than 30 years with my office in Beverly Hills. And then I left that area after 30 years and am now living on a farm. That's a major pivot. That took courage, and sometimes it's still scary. So again, that's what Beverly Hills to Barnyard is about. So now let me tell you about my very special guest. As a French and Belgian citizen, Thierry is a self-taught natural leader that has enjoyed developing and managing countless for-profit and nonprofit organizations for national and international projects. With a career steeped in the entertainment industry, Thierry is always ready to discover new projects where the art of fashioning a more humanistic world without borders would be continually encouraged, along with imagination, creativity, and talent. You're definitely going to see that in him. In addition to his expansive career, he has an unlimited passion for wildlife, deserts, the Himalayas, and the Canadian Arctic, where he spent more than 1 year living with the indigenous Inuit population. Now, there's a whole lot more that I can tell you about this wonderful, wonderful man. He's really handsome too, ladies. But I'm going to let him tell you more. So without further ado, because we've got a lot to cover, I want to welcome my very special guest from France, Mr. Thierry Sanchez.
Thank you, Sherita.
Thank you for coming on. Matter of fact, what time is it there?
It's 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
And it is very hot. It's like almost 100 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, we're getting that here too in Arkansas. Matter of fact, I think it's going to be like 104 today. So Thierry, when we first met, I think you were in Belgium, and then you and I last had, which was about 18 years ago, like we said, we had dinner at this really quaint little place in Los Angeles called The Vine. Hopefully It's still open. You guys, you should go and visit there. Thierry, but I got a couple of questions that I just want to start out with, because again, we have a lot to cover. And again, the show is about empowering individuals. And so I have a question. What has been your greatest obstacle that you've had to overcome?
But me, it was mainly, I come from a family, and my parents always took care of people all their life, for not looking after money. My father helped lots of young people, and my mother, everyone around her. So I try to find a way of transforming myself to become a better person, and how I could help others like my parents, and for the benefit of humanity. So I never thought about France because I was born in France, or about a country. I see the world. I wanted to conquer and travel, and so that was my main preoccupation. Before the age of 16, I was so shy. You couldn't bring me to any events. I went to sports, but that's all. And first, excuse my French accent because it's still there.
I think that's one of the things we love about you.
Okay, so, and if you don't understand, ask me again. And being in peace with myself. I've been fighting all my life with this injustice wound. Is there wounds? Like, if I had always to go after helping people who are treated badly by the system, or so that was my main things. How to, I had to overcome my, and that was my main challenge, is to become someone that when I was 16, I saw the adults I wanted to become. And then I was like a long journey, because I discovered that through our journey, we do a lot of compromise with our deep values. Then it's like late, and one day, she said, you wake up in the morning and say, why I've got anxiety and all this kind of thing, why I'm in fear. And then you work on that. And that's what I one day I woke up and I was myself. So I was not in fear anymore, no more anxiety. And then I started to say, okay, what do I do with my life? And you know, so.
Well, now, you know, I'm glad that you mentioned that about just waking up in fear. So often, many of us, we can feel absolutely amazing one day, and then the next morning, or even through the day, we start feeling a fear or an anxiety, and we don't know why that occurs. And so that's another reason why I am so excited to have this show, because sometimes we just need a boost, whether it's weekly or talking to a friend that can help get us out of what a lot of times we might call that funk. So, and sometimes we're just going through things. So that leads me to my next question. What inspires you when you have to weather the storms of life, Thierry?
Okay, mainly it's my parents. My parents were poor, but joyful, and they were in love. So I grew up in the love atmosphere, and I discovered, you know, it takes time to say what were my magic encounters. My parents were, and then through the time and through my traveling and the life I had, I met amazing people who went through a lot of struggles and difficulties, but they managed to become they managed to serve humanity in a way, and that's what I was looking for. And when I am in a bad place, and that does happen, like you say, sometimes it takes a couple of days, and then you have the blues. So I just need to think about the people that I have met, like you, for example, are always smiling and joyful, and my children that are very positive youngsters, and since they are young, they were positive more than me. So the people I encounter would change my life. So my richness, it was to meet these people. And when I go bad and I feel that I need to look in another place, and I look at them, or reading the books I wrote with Patrick Gaffney about 10 of these people who had transformed my life. So transformation, that was my journey to transform myself. And I believe that, and then through my I would say the best amazing project I ever done in my life was not about all these big things I have done. It's to work with these 32 teenagers for 16 months. It was called the Letter to Humanity workshops. 2 schools, 16 children in each school. And lots of them in hardship, difficulties, and then working with amazing coaches. Only women, I work only with women on this project, except the videographer, which transformed the life of 32 children. And we were supposed to work 6 months with them. We stayed 16 months. And then they discover in themselves what was inside themselves to serve humanity. They found their talent. And that's why I said, if we were spending more time with children or with teenagers that have difficulties in life, in schools, dealing with injustice, for example, and it was during the terrorist time in Belgium, and most of them were Muslim, of Muslim origin. And then we held them and we helped the parents to see that they had amazing children, and they should help them to help them to become what they are supposed to become. And one of these women was a young, she was 17, and she was amazing. And we discovered that she had 200,000 followers writing. She had a small blog, but nobody knew because she had a different name, and she was writing novels. So we said, what you are doing? Why? She said, my parents said, my place is it's at the kitchen. When I finish my school, I go and help my mother. And then we discussed with the parents and say, you have an amazing daughter. She has an amazing talent. Help her. But the good thing is most of them kept in contact with the team. And for me, that we did a book with them. So that for me was and a lot of very famous people joined us on the project to help this teenager. So that was for me the best ever project I've ever done in my life.
Now, is that your book, Talent for Humanity?
Yeah, that was the following up of the book. Talent for Humanity is about 10 amazing persons. And the idea was there is no time or to become who you are and to transform yourself. So we took 7 examples with Patrick Gaffney, who co-wrote the book, the Tibetan book of living and dying, and works with me 3 years on this project. And the idea was not to tell and to show what they were doing, what these people were doing, but who they are and who they were, and their journey from age of 6 years old for some until 70, and 15 pages. So we decided to try to be like a book, but a mirror. So anyone who wrote the book, who read the book, could at the end write their letter to humanity too, and try to explore for themselves a new way. So we did help people outside of our own network, and even I've been contacted by a school in America and Canada, but we say that we have developed the project, we wrote about the project, now they can have it free for them, a full package of how they should do and how they could do. But it's mainly the facilitators who help, and to say that any child, if we plant a seed of love, it can become an amazing thing one day, but we will maybe never know about it.
Yes. Now tell me this, how long has it been since you worked with the youth with that project?
It was a pilot project with the Ministry of Education in Belgium, so it was in 2015 and 2016. Then we did.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, good.
Is now you were probably in person with them, right?
Yeah, I was working with a group of economics. They were studying economics, so I was helping them to raise money for the project of their friend. So we create kind of a support group, and we had 185 donors outside of the help of the Ministry of Education. But 95% of the donors were women. So the women are very close to all these kind of projects more than men.
Yes. You know, I find that also with all the different organizations that I work with, even here in the US, mostly it's women involved. And that's why we are looking to involve more men, because when you have a lot of single parent households that are mostly also women led, that's very few positive male role models that our young boys are being exposed to. And so the reason why I was asking you, when was the last time? And then also, was it in person? Because I'm looking to develop more programs that can happen virtually. See, the good thing about COVID-19 is that everyone across the world now are familiar with doing things virtually, and they feel comfortable in doing that, like you and I are on right now. The other thing is, Thierry, is that here on the land, next summer, we plan to have our youth programs and our camp operating. So my goal is to have some virtual projects where we're empowering you throughout the year virtually, and then they come together in person and meet each other here at camp next summer. So I want to talk to you about that project because I'm working with a few organizations. We were going to bring, matter of fact, Monique Wells is one of my collaborating partners, and she's there in Paris. We were supposed to have camp this summer, but the mobile homes that we had donated, there was just no way that we could have gotten them ready. They were just in too bad a shape. And matter of fact, I didn't even move them here to the property. So we're looking to get 2 bunkhouses that we will have here, and our goal is to have 40 kids here next summer. And I would love for you to be one of our collaborating partners.
Oh yeah, can they camp there?
Yes, that's what it's going to be. We will have 20 bunks in each camp, in each bunkhouse, which will be able to have 40 kids. Now, the bunkhouses will also serve for our women's empowerment program. We will have an executive retreat. See, I used to be a director at a YMCA, and we had executive camps and retreats up in Big Bear. And I want to mimic that here on my land. And so I would love for you to be a collaborating partner for the future projects.
Of course, I can even send you everything because most of our documents are also in English. So I can send it to you to look at.
Yes,
and maybe you will find some inspiring things for the teenager or the kids.
Well, I know it's going to be. See, I know you, and the way that we met was through your humanity project. I mean, we met on the basis of what we're discussing, and so, and you have been consistently. I mean, we have been in touch over these years, and you have not wavered from being that wonderful humanitarian. And until recently is when I realized that you also had worked with the kids. Or we would have been collaborating sooner.
Yeah, but I always, Town for Humanity was a nonprofit for a while based in America and Belgium. But when I finished most of my projects, I kept the brand, and now I'm developing project under the brand name. But I try to avoid companies and all the paperwork. And so, I was trained as an accountant, but my dream was to be a vet in a national park in Africa. So that one day I went to the Inuit, so it was far away from Africa, but I decided to live my dream at least once in my life and to cut with my family because I was so close to my parents that sometimes just need to separate a little bit and then come back, and it's like, okay, you are free now, free to move in the world. So, well,
see, and that's another thing. Monique and I, for every week, we were having our youth veterinarian program, and we were on like this, and we were bringing vets on from all over the world, talking to youth about going into the veterinary field. So that's another reason why I want to introduce you to Monique Wells and the Wells International Foundation, which again is located there in Paris. Now, do you tell me this? What new projects do you have coming up that you'd like to mention?
I still work because during the COVID, we were still working on a musical with a small team from Canada, America, and European. And then the COVID came, and the producer stopped working. Then I put that into a drawer. Then I took it back a few months ago, and I said, that's an amazing project. I should go back and work on it. But, a musical takes a long time. So I said, why should I do in the meantime that I could keep my soul work, to just be who I am. So I've been involved with water. I will not go into details. So I created a project called Water for Humanity, Fountains of Hope. And it is with maybe a partnership with a big Japanese company and a humanitarian organization where I found a way of helping people with their health and their financial growth in the meantime to serve a humanitarian project. So It is still in development. It should be ready by the end of the year. I already got a few big financiers who say, oh, let's go into it. It's amazing. And you know, I've been trying to raise money most of my life, like you. So, and working with the competitor of Cirque du Soleil for 5 years, I raised a lot of money for the company I used to be employed, works in Las Vegas and China. And then I decided at one point that working on a huge project for 4 years, you know, each project is 4 years development, Las Vegas or China. And you deal a lot with money and lawyers and financial advisors. So the creative side gets diluted.
Yes.
And then you have to compromise again with your values.
Right, right.
So that was a point for me to say, should I go on? Because it was a 4 years parentage in my life, because I did not have to deal with bankers and all that. I receive a salary every month and points. And then I left the company, say to myself, what should I do with my life? And then I got to few meetings with corporate companies. Then I came back home and I said, how much money I have in my bank account saving for my retirement? And I had enough for 10 years, almost two. So I said, okay, I'm stopping working and I'm only going to do what I always wanted to do when I was young. So I budget almost 10 years of budget, and then I said, stop working. And after that, I can retire. So I retired in 2019. So from 2012 to 2019, 2010 to 2019, I stopped working and only done things to serve humanity. Without thinking about
and fed your soul.
Yeah, and without thinking about the money. So one day I woke up, it was 2019, I said, I have no more money, so I need to get my retirement. And that's what I did. So So now I'm doing this Water for Humanity project, and then I hope that it will be the last one as a big project. But I'm trying to bring a big team around that, and I will just be part of. I don't want to manage. I don't want to run.
Yes.
I don't need more money.
Yes.
If I can make a little bit more to travel more, but you know, I'm 68, and then I just want to try to enjoy my life and travel. Travels. That's what I love, to meet people. You know, when I watch your first video talking about your dog, Joy, what I remember from you is your smile. You know, smiling to people, it's so nice when you can smile to people every day.
Yes. And you know, now, like I was saying in that video, I can't every day. I may not have that feeling to smile, but I find a way to do that, because when you have a smile on your face, it does trigger how you feel. You know, now a moment ago with you talking about doing what you love, you know, there are 3 main regrets that people have. And they say, I wish that I had the courage to live a little more true to myself and not the life that others expected. I wish that I hadn't worked so hard. I wish that I had let myself be happier. Those are 3 of the highest regrets that people have. So, and sadly, there are so many people that have more riches than they could ever spend. Bigger homes and say they haven't even seen some of the rooms that are in their homes in who knows how long. They're not living in the spaces. And so how are you measuring success? I ask people. What instead of going after what maybe society says is success or what is projected out there as success, how do you feel? And that's why I always talk about, what are you doing that feeds your soul? Because at the end of the day, Thierry, when we're laying in bed alone, are you loving yourself? Do you feel good about what has happened that day, or even what you're planning to do? Because if you are buying the big cars or trying to live in the big house, at the end of the day, you're alone in that. And are you doing that to please someone else, or is it pleasing you? And sadly, you and I both have seen that people with major titles and all of that still commit suicide. And they had all the riches. So what is your purpose? And that's my goal, Terry, is to help people find more of what is their purpose in life. Why are we here? Because a lot of times you hear so many people say that, why am I here? And that's why I want to talk about and talk to individuals like yourself, because I want to help people connect more to that. And so now, how can people reach you, Mr. Humanitarian?
But they can, it's easy on my Facebook page, or then they can write me on private, and I usually use WhatsApp. So if you want to give my phone number, it's better for them to write me on the or they can write me at Thierry. Could you call that the arrobas, the Thierry at talentforhumanity.org.
And spell Thierry for them.
THIERRY at talentforhumanity.org. On my private message on my Facebook page, and I always answer. The thing is, I think if I had followed my parents' dream, I would have been an accountant working for the same company until I die, or until I retire. That was the way that people were going. They were having one job.
Yes.
Me, I decided when I was young to change a job as soon as I knew my job. So I said, I need something else. And then I realized that going to experience wildlife and living an adventure life, I will miss something. So I get the courage to go and spend a year in the Arctic. It was not easy, but I went there. And then I came back, and I don't want to work again. But the thing is, it takes so long time to find oneself, our true nature. That's the journey. Who I am is me. I would like to be close to my true nature. Now, what is my true nature?
Right.
How I discover that?
Right.
So we have dreams when we are young, and maybe in some of these dreams there is an answer. Maybe we had a flash. Maybe there is an answer. So I know that I found the way when I lose my anxiety and my anxieties and my fear. And that was the highway for me to go. And it is very hard every day, because we are human, and we have the tendency, complain. I can complain a lot, but I can complain.
Well, Terry, we're coming to the close.
But when I travel, I'm so happy. I meet people, and I don't want to go back. It's like my friends used to say, Thierry, the problem with you always want to go away, but when you come back, you want to go away again.
Yes.
So it's like I said, I just need a base where I feel good to stay a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, and then I travel. And
it's nothing like home. It's no place like home. But Terry, we are coming to a close, sadly. And so again, please provide your contact info for my guests, for my audience, I'm sorry.
So as I say, they can contact me on my Facebook page or write to me on Talent for Humanity at Thierry, THIERRY at talentforhumanity.org. .org.
Great. Well, Terry, thank you. Thank you so much for being on. I'm going to have you back, because we have so much more to talk about. And so I will be contacting you about the collaboration opportunities.
Okay, a kiss from France.
Thank you. And I will receive that. And to my listeners, I hope that you've enjoyed this wonderful guest. He is an absolutely phenomenal humanitarian, on top of just doing some amazing things in his career. Mr. Thierry Sanchez, thank you for coming to us all the way from France. Everyone, thank Thank you and have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.